Next time I see you, you'll be all in black.
It was always my color.
D23 was a geek's dream this year, with huge news dropping about various Star Wars and Marvel projects. But one of the biggest surprises was that Kit Harington was joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But before fans could finish their fan art of Jon Snow as Wolverine, it was announced that he would take the black again as the Black Knight, Dane Whitman. But who is this character, and why is Kit Harington, of all people, playing the role? We've got the answers for you right here on Screen Crush. Hey everyone, I'm Ryan Airy. Kit Harington is going to rejoin his Stark cousin Richard Madden as a cast member of the Eternals, though he's not actually playing one of those titular heroes. Now, as for who the Eternals are, we did a whole breakdown of them and what we can expect from that movie, so if you want to know all the details, check out that video. But the TLDR is, the Eternals are really old, invincible, and people think they're gods. Dane Whitman isn't an eternal god, but he is a superhero and a longtime Avenger named the Black Knight. And he has one of the weirdest backstories of any comic book character, ever. Seriously, you're going to hear all this and you're going to think it was pitched by a kindergarten classroom with really awesome imaginations. But first, I'm curious, was there another Marvel character you wanted Kit Harington to play? Let me know your Jon Snow dream casting down in the comments. Anyways, Black Knight's origin actually starts hundreds of years ago during Camelot. A knight named Sir Percy, a member of King Arthur's Round Table, was the first Black Knight. Merlin forged a sword for Sir Percy called the Ebony Blade. He made it from a meteor. There were several Black Knights over hundreds of years, and the modern-day incarnation is Dane Whitman. His uncle was a supervillain, also called the Black Knight, with a genetically altered flying horse named Aragorn, the rightful king of Gondor. Anyways, Dane took over the name when his uncle died, invented some super gadgets, and became a hero. With Doctor Strange's help, he finds the Ebony Blade, which, oh, I forgot to mention, is cursed and makes him go crazy. So instead, he invents a lightsaber. Please, 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 Marvel, do this. At this point, enter Circe, not that Circe, who is an Eternal and a member of the Avengers. In the movie, she's played by Gemma Chan, who, yes, did already play Minerva in Captain Marvel. She and Dane fall for each other. Then, a villain named Proctor starts to mess with her head and make her go crazy. So she does an Eternal Vulcan mind meld with him called a Gan-Josin that melds their souls and gives Dane the powers of an Eternal. Proctor, by the way, turned out to be an evil version of Dane from an alternate universe. So Dane and Circe travel to another comic book universe where they're published in different comic books for a while. Then he inhabits the body of a 13th century knight where he fights the immortal evil mutant Apocalypse. Circe then sends them back to the present, inadvertently breaking their Vulcan mind meld. For a while, he hires out his superhero services, and then he fought an army of half human, half animals, and his sword absorbed the souls of a few thousand people killed by Ultron. I love comics. Then he joins a British group of supernatural fighting heroes called MI-13. Soon he discovers that he doesn't have the real Ebony Blade, but a fake vampire blade that was actually created by Dracula. Yes, the actual Dracula. Then, much like Blade, he uses this sword to fight off an army of vampires.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
So, what does all this mean for the Eternals? Well, for starters, they'll probably streamline his origin just a tad. Kevin Feige said that the movie could span tens of thousands of years. So maybe we'll see the Ebony Blade being forged, and maybe it'll be forged by the Eternals' weapon maker Phastos, who's played by Brian Tyree Henry. If Camelot and Merlin and King Arthur are all a part of the MCU, that's pretty awesome. Imagine the legend of King Arthur taking place in the same universe as Iron Man. And maybe we'll see the original Black Knight, Sir Percy, who could be played by Kit Harington. He and Circe could fall in love, but alas, he's immortal and he dies. But over the centuries, his ancestors continue to carry on the tradition of the Black Knight. Or, since Circe's power is transmogrification, turning things into other things, she could put him in a state of suspended animation over a few hundred years. Then we could see a fish-out-of-water Kit Harington playing a knight of King Arthur's court stuck in the modern day. Captain America, I will see you your 70 years in ice with a shield and multiply it by 10 with a magic sword. He could be an Avenger, fight vampires with Blade, fight Apocalypse with the X-Men. This guy is the ultimate utility player of the Marvel Universe. So what do you say, Dane? Do you want to be an Avenger?
I don't want it.
Well, good, because I don't think Dane's going to play a huge part in the Eternals. It's being released in 14 months. They've already been filming for a while, and then they just finalized his casting. There isn't enough time to have a large amount of screen time for this character. Kevin Feige also said that this role could lead to bigger things in the MCU. So I'm thinking Kit will make an appearance, but not be a huge part of the movie. Kind of like how they introduced Spider-Man and Black Panther in Civil War. Now Spider-Man. It still makes me sad, you know? Also, Kit Harington is one of many Game of Thrones actors to join the MCU, like Natalie Dormer and Peter Dinklage. And a lot of Game of Thrones actors are in Star Wars, like Gwendolyn Christie and Emilia Clarke. And a lot of Star Wars actors are in the MCU, like Natalie Portman and Lupita Nyong'o. But to my knowledge, only one actor has appeared in all three, plus Fast and the Furious. If you know who, tell me in the comments. And no Googling, even though it is like an itty bitty part. And if it's your first time here, guys, please subscribe. For Screen Crush, I'm Ryan Airy.